Tonight's theme is Arthur Miller's The Crucible, a play that has become quite the American icon, despite the fact that it had a lukewarm 1953 opening reception, both with critics and audiences. But the play has been produced countless times since then, including 4 revivals, on Broadway, a TV drama, and a couple of movies. It's studied in high schools, and it's shown in it's in community theaters, and it has had the great honor, in my opinion, of being banned periodically over the years. The play is somewhat fictionalized dramatization of the very real 1692 Salem witch trials, where 14 women, 5 men, and 2 dogs were convicted and hanged for witchcraft. Also, a man, Giles Corey, was slowly pressed to death with large stones that they stacked on his chest one at a time, trying to get him to plead guilty, but he didn't. All these victims were buried in shallow graves, or not at all, just like that. And this violent, immoral, cruel mass hysteria, this judicial travesty, lasted just a bit over a year and was not unique to the times. So it could have easily passed into oblivion, except that in 1949, Arthur Miller came upon and was captivated by a book, The Devil in Massachusetts, which was written by Marion Starkey. It's a psychological portrait of the Salem trials that traces their progression from child fantasies, girls gone wild, to societal hysteria, through actual court records. Standing on its own, Marion Starkey said, this event was a real Greek tragedy, right there, with a beginning, middle, and an end. And she pointed out that people have a hard time understanding the human aspect of something when they see it happening to millions of people. But when they see it happen to individuals, that's a whole other thing. Because you see, in Salem, they didn't hang witches theoretically. No, they actually strung them up. These very real, ordinary, individual people, like the decent grandmother who had grown too hard of hearing to understand a crucial question from the jurors. A rakish, pipe-smoking female tramp. A plain farmer whose only concern was saving his wife from molestation, and a lame, toothless old man who liked to use salty language. If you look at these people's lives carefully, you get to know the few, you're on your way to understanding the millions. Starkey said, grasp the personal, begin to understand the universal. And that is a good pitch for the value of storytelling. This gathering here tonight, the mission of backstory, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Then, to go further, Starkey and thus Miller recognized that the Salem witch hunt was not just a product of or an interesting story about the distant past, but was an allegory of their times, their own society that was deeply embroiled in the hysteria of McCarthyism. When the United States government persecuted people accused of being communists, left-wingers, and so fully aware of the danger of offering the public a play like this in 1953, knowing that he'd not just be writing himself into the wilderness politically, but probably personally as well. Writing in a kind of white heat, as he put it, Miller dared to hold up a mirror to his own flawed, troubled, but beloved country so people could see and understand. In 1956, Miller himself was questioned by the House of Representatives Committee on Un-American Activities and convicted of contempt of Congress because he refused to identify others present at meetings he had attended. And the play didn't go over well initially. His career stumbled, and yes, his personal relationships suffered for a time. But the Crucible went on to be Miller's most produced play.
Yeah.
This play and the witch trials echo the seductions of power, the accusations, the fear and ruination characteristic of mid-century America's Red Scare, Nazi Germany, and dare I say, while over 70 years have passed since the play's opening night, its plot strikes very close to home today. Yes? We are in for it. There is no denying. Common vengeance, racism, greed is guiding the people in power who seem hell-bent on abandoning the normal decencies and legalities of civilized life and disparaging the other, both abroad and here. Social disorder like we are seeing right now in any age breeds fear, division, and mystical suspicions like we saw in Salem. Think QAnon and the demonization of immigrants. So we should be vigilant, observant, courageous, active, and most importantly, in this time of misunderstandings, we cannot turn on each other, but rather move toward each other and embrace the notion that freedom belongs to alliance. And so, the importance of tonight. What are we to do in our troubling times? Well, I think that one thing is we tell stories. We listen to each other's stories. Yes, tonight, here at this gathering, but also in our everyday, at the grocery store, in the parking lot, at our kitchen table, sure, online. But speak sincerely. Listen deeply, intently, with open hearts, minds, with profound curiosity and love. Share yourself truthfully, accept others with compassion, because this can be a form of resistance. Wangari Maathai, the Kenyan woman who founded the Greenbelt movement, said, "It's the little things citizens do. That's what will make the difference. My little thing is planting trees." Wangari was the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize, planting seedlings. Our little thing can be creating and sharing stories.